Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Just
2
now.
seconds ago.
Yeah, we are. That's how we roll.
Kara just joined us 1 second ago in the studio.
Yay. And we can
Sorry,
hear her.
guys. I was in a research lab meeting until 1 second ago. For the last hour.
Kara, how are you?
I'm great, except that my, city is on fire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that getting near
Malibu is
you?
taking it, man.
Yeah, so basically, I live in kind of northeast LA, like right by Griffith Park, and Malibu is sort of southwest by the coast. The fire started just below in Thousand Oaks, just below Simi Valley, about here, and the Santa Ana winds blow in this direction. So I'm not at any risk of the fire at all. Like, I am in a place that's really safe. The problem is the winds are so bad right now.
The air pollution is terrible.
Yeah. Well, the air pollution's terrible until today. This is like this horrible thing where on the days when the winds are blowing really hard, it's super clear outside for us, but that's not a good thing because that means the fire is spreading.
Kicking up the fire.
So if the
Yeah.
lights suddenly go out where you are, we'll know that you lost power.
Yeah,
That's usually your
but
first
that
clue.
shouldn't happen where I am. There was a fire 2 days ago, though, in Griffith Park, or maybe it was 3 days now, but they contained it. It was 30 acres. They contained it really quickly, and it threatened the zoo animals. They had to move some of them, but they were able to get them back in, no problem.
Yeah.
Born free.
Yeah. Now, they were saying a lot of people had to set their horses free.
I know. Yeah, they
hope for
spray
the
painted their
best.
phone numbers on the side of them.
So we'll have feral horses in California. I mean,
Well, there's already a big wild
Well,
horse
we have
population.
we have feral horses in California. Yeah.
Do they come?
I mean, it's
looking for human flesh from time to time at your door.
no, they're not zombie horses.
Not
They're
yet.
just feral.
So,
But yeah, it's tough.
hello,
It's tough here.
everyone in Patreon world.
Hi guys.
Hello, patrons.
Oh, are we on Discord too?
Yes.
I guess so, yeah.
Ian, it kind of.
Cool. I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna get on too.
Yeah.
So start shooting us questions. Ian, who is our lovely assistant for the evening, will be curating those questions for us.
So are all tech people called
All
Ian
tech
tonight?
people are Ian tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
And where is this streaming? Like, how can people watch this?
On Patreon.
On Patreon.
It's on Patreon
Yes.
directly.
And then-
Okay, cool.
And then all other patrons will gain access to it after it ends.
when we
tonight.
decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mwahaha.
But
Evan, you said you had a very dramatic story to tell us.
I do have a dramatic story to tell
Better
you.
be dramatic.
It's dramatic. I'm just going to jump right into it.
Go ahead.
go start.
Please.
My daughter Rachel and I.
Oh my God.
No.
Are you okay?
Actually, my daughter Rachel and I were in a drive-by shooting.
What? Where was this?
This was in Hartford.
I was
At
gonna
one of
say
these
Hartford.
concerts that you go to?
At one of the concerts we
Oh,
go
man.
to. We were waiting
See?
outside.
I
Why
warned
did you
you.
bring guns to the concert?
Well, because they brought guns to the concert. They brought a knife, I brought a gun.
So where were you?
We were standing outside of the Webster Theater, Webster Avenue in Hartford, a real crap hole. But, in any case, it's a venue where you see these concerts and things. So you're standing outside in line waiting to get in, la la la. It's middle of the day, middle of the afternoon, 4 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
About 100 of us out there. When all of a sudden, we're standing around just talking with people like you normally do. And I hear something. It's going ba-doop, 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 ba-doop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is that? I turn around. As I turn around, the car in the street there, which is from which they are firing the weapon, I catch a glance of. Now, do you want to guess what kind of weapon it was that they were?
Paintball?
Paintball. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we were.
Oh, Evan.
So Rachel took.
You ass.
Rachel took a shot in the back of the coat. She was wearing a big, she's a big
Well,
heavy
See, you
coat.
should have told us that first before you told us it was paintball.
Well, I
Yeah,
just
we
wanted to
would've
let
got
people
shot.
off the hook.
That's against the law, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. The cops were
Put
there.
an
The
eye
cops
out.
were there about 45 seconds later. They,
Is she?
they
Did
called.
did she have a big bruise or anything?
Oh no, she was wearing a very thick, heavy padded coat. It was very cold outside, so we were dressed for winter. Fortunately,
Ooh, is she gonna keep it? Like, what color is it?
it's blue.
Ooh,
And
cool.
and
Look
the,
at wash
and the
right off.
splatter actually kind of got in her hair and stuff, so she thought it was really cool in that way.
like mixed with her green hair.
A bunch of people got hit, but also you see a nice line of paintballs like on the building on which we were all lined up. And there was one, I was looking where my spot was, one just missed me, must have whizzed by my head and missed me by about 2 or 3 inches. Because that's
it was cold where you were, right?
It was very cold.
Yeah, because paintballs get really hard.
Yeah.
They don't break as easily when it's that cold out, so it could have really hurt you if it hit you in the head.
Or put an eye out. I mean, you wear goggles for a reason when you're
So
playing
here's
paintball.
my observation though. It's not obviously it was and everyone was okay. Nobody went crazy or screaming or anything. There was no panic that ensued. But what I did as I was watching it unfold, I realized when you're in a situation like that and you're seeing it unfold, this sort of dramatic thing, you're frozen.
Yeah.
You freeze up. I froze up. And I
You failed your saving throw.
And I failed my saving throw. Yeah. And I've in our martial arts training, we sometimes do these weapon scenarios, guns among them. So I'm not unused to there being weapons around or pellets being fired
training,
and these sorts of things. I've trained before in these sorts of things. Yet when the moment arrived,
You froze.
my training didn't really
Right.
count in this regard. I froze and I just watched it happen.
Yeah.
And if that weapon had been aimed at me, and if this was, thank goodness it wasn't a real incident, I'd been
helpless.
dead,
Yeah.
and there'd be 20 dead people on
That's
the
why these days there's a lot of talk about active shooter preparation, and that's why they will say if you go into a public place, you go into a restaurant, what they say to do is you sit down, you look around. All right, there's an exit and there's an exit, and when the shit hits the fan, like for that, and so instead of freezing and thinking what do I need to do, you know the exit's there, and you just run to the exit.
No, that's
you got
true.
to pre-plan, otherwise
I
you will
should have
freeze.
hit the ground is what I should have done. Just drop to the ground. That's the
drop to
give
the
myself
ground.
the most.
Or-
I didn't even
or
do that. I just kind
relatively
of
calm.
Grabbed
I just
Rachel and
watched
dragged
it.
her to the ground.
why
Or
didn't
hide behind her.
That's right. She was wearing a big coat. Oh, poor Rachel.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I feel like we should say, only because I was confused when I got into Discord, that we're all in the channel called Livestream Questions.
Livestream -questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We have too many
Hashtag
channels,
livestream.
guys. It's very confusing.
Yeah, so put your questions in the Livestream -questions channel.
But also say hi to me and chat with me because I'm multitasking over here.
So Great
Greg?
Scott asked a question. I was wondering if the signed books for the Metacog level patrons were mailed yet. Yes, they are mailed. They are in the
Yay!
mail.
They will have been mailed.
They
or
will. No, they're
No,
mailed.
they're
they
out.
have been mailed.
they will have been mailed.
They were
By the
dropped
time you
off.
hear
They were
this,
dropped
they-
off, and they'll probably be post stamped tomorrow because the post office as it gets closed. But they're no longer with me.
Right.
Yeah.
They're out of your hands.
Yes.
That's right.
So
Awesome.
that reminds me, Evan, of because we've flown a lot now.
Yes.
And after your 20th time on the plane or something, at the beginning of every flight, they get up there and they go through the whole rigmarole, and you're like, oh God, do they really have to, I know that this may be somebody's first flight, but you just tune it out and you ignore it. But the thing is, it actually statistically helps getting that last minute reminder of what to do because of what Bob just said. It's like having that mental preparation before a possible emergency makes people respond more, better.
Yeah, I
You
would
know?
think so.
No, it does. Because you're right. Because otherwise, if it's not right in your head, it's also like a lot of medical training is the same way. Like, when you go through medical school, a lot of things you will train for even, heavily before you actually get into a real scenario. Like you might learn how to do CPR, right? But then the first time there's a dead person in front of you and you have to do CPR, it's different. Like, you know what I mean? And
Mostly dead.
On the
Mostly
way to
dead.
that.
Yeah. Right, but they're partly alive.
Yes, that's the key
That's
thing.
the part you're trying to hold on to. No, it's just why you have to have real hands-on experience.
I think so. I think
You know,
so.
you got to be in the shit before you get that 1,000-yard stare of
But
it.
you don't want to be in the shit the first time you're figuring out what to do when you're in the shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's better you have to have somebody in the shit with you who has
Oh, that's
experience, and they, you know what I mean? So they're there to usher
Well,
you
that's
through
also
it.
why with CPR, don't they, when you call 911 and you're doing CPR, they make you count out loud the whole time so that they can make sure that your speed is right and that you're okay and that you're not getting too tired. Like, that's kind of the job of the person on the phone on 911, which
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Question for you, Steve.
Steve, did you know that the shimmering effect you mentioned in regards to color perception is a demonstration of Hebbian loops in the brain? No, I didn't know that. That's
What's
cool.
a Hebbian loop?
I don't know, or a Hebbian? Yeah, H-E-B-B-I.
Yeah.
Oh,
I say
Hebbian?
Hebbian,
like a Heb synapse. Yeah.
H-E-B-B-I-A-N.
You call it a Hebbian.
What is
I call
that,
it a
Kara? What's a
Hebbian
Hebbian
A
loop?
Hebbian synapse? Well, it's just that idea that that neurons that fire together wire together. So it's a
wire
synapse
together, fire
that,
together, yeah.
yeah, that has fired
like
a
that.
lot. It's those two cells have fired together within a certain amount of time, and so it's a strong relationship.
So what's a
between them.
Hebbian loop?
I don't know.
We'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, maybe that's like a weird thing where, like, you know, it's probably not this, but I'm gonna say as I'm looking it up. When my dog wears a bark collar when he's left alone in the house, and it's a bark collar that changes in intensity. So when he first barks, it gives him a tiny shock and he barely feels it, so he keeps barking.
Yeah.
Eventually it shocks him so much that it makes him yelp and he stops. But they say some dogs get in these weird bark loops where every time it shocks them, it makes them bark.
Yeah.
And then it's like this bad negative feedback loop. So I'm wondering if that's what a Hebbian
I figured
loop
it's
is.
some kind of brain thingy.
Who's it? And who discovered it?
Heb.
But
Okay, so over
Yeah, I'll
never
look
heard
that
of
up.
a
I'll
Hebbian.
look up a Hebbian. I haven't heard that. I'll look that up.
next.
Literally under the Hebbian synapse Wikipedia, there's no loop
Hebbian loop.
Okay.
not yet. at
or
least.
Hebbian theory.
Over
Yeah,
the
so-
course of your career, Kara, what has been the biggest change you have seen in it?
Is that
What?
directed at anybody in particular?
I don't think so.
Where is that question?
I mean, that's a question.
That's
You're
the-
not seeing those
Over the course
questions.
of your career, what has been the,
The biggest change
Let's
you've
all
seen in it.
answer it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For me, it was the change from physical servers to virtual
Servers.
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 Yeah, one server hosting, whatever, 5, 10 servers. Huge change. A lot cheaper, a lot more efficient, so much easier. I remember when I was working for Priceline, we had to build out servers. So we would buy these servers, physical servers, and you have to prep and install each one. Now you can just you can create one server and then take a virtual image of it and then just
Clone it.
Basically, just clone it
Yep.
and make some changes, IP changes and things. And so that was the biggest change that I've seen in IT. I'm done.
Anyone?
I mean, there's lots of different things I could talk about, but I guess like a big change that touched everything I think was social media. Social media
Oh yeah.
had a massive effect
Yeah.
on the web, on internet, websites, internet marketing. Big data is so unbelievably powerful. The targeting of information that comes at us that we're not even aware of it, but you get so much targeting and it's so damn effective.
In medicine, it's two things. One was just going digital, right? So when I was first training, there was paper everything, right? There was, I think maybe laboratory results were on. You can go to a computer and look up laboratory results. That was it.
Ooh.
But everything else, we had paper charts. We would do, everything.
Yep.
And now everything, not only is everything electronic in terms of the medical record, but there's a computer in the room with the patient, and like the clinic visit is happening as much on the computer as it is in the physical space. And you can also look things up in real time. It's all that's been a big change. The other thing is the total mainstreaming of alternative nonsense
Yeah,
over the last 20 years.
Yep.
It's true.
they've done an
Yeah.
amazing job marketing and getting their foot in the door.
More than almost any other pseudoscience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It's really
Well,
pathetic.
Bob, I think the correlation is money because they make money.
Of
They
course.
make a lot
Of
of money.
course.
If you have that behind you, you can get a lot done. Next question. So, what had to get replaced in there after the flooding?
Well, it's
No, the first thing was the water,
the one thing,
right? The
Yeah.
flood water had to be replaced
Yes.
with new water.
Yeah,
That's
from the
first
well.
thing.
Yeah.
The big thing
People don't
was
think
the
of that.
thing
Well,
that
we
you
had to
cannot
replace
see.
Evan.
We had to replace Evan. He got water. He was
Aw.
soaked. He was soaked.
Looks like we need a new Evan.
Evan
the-
2.0.
So all of the cameras had to be changed, which you obviously can't see because they're at the camera.
They did exactly. They did exactly what the web told us they were going to do.
Yeah, they were going to crap out over weeks and a couple months.
Yeah.
They're going to slowly crap
Slowly
out one
shit
at a
the
time,
bed is
and
what
they
the
did.
web
Each one of
said.
them, over basically 3 months, all three cameras shit the
A
bread.
slow
Yeah.
death.
And we
So-
had to replace them.
So we upgraded to GH5s because the GH4s, you know,
They're fine, but the GH5 is better.
yeah, GH5 just has it's more video oriented.
Yeah.
So you're seeing like much crisper colors tonight. You might
Crisper.
notice. Yeah.
And we had a
lights,
battery crapped to bed that we never didn't replace.
Lights.
Some of the lights had to get replaced.
some of those monitors in the back.
One monitor shit the bed in the back. But that's it. Everything else physical that was fine. This table was wet, but who cares? We dried it off.
There's little things I noticed like paint chipping and stuff that you guys might not even
Yeah.
see.
Did the insurance company let you anticipate that 3-month slow die-off?
No, we maxed out with the insurance company,
Alright, so it
it's
wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
It was a net loss though, you know.
Yeah, it was.
Because we didn't have like an independent like $50,000 insurance policy down here, but luckily it wasn't a yard sale. You know, we didn't lose everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the cameras, for some reason, the cameras and the CCD and
Well, the water fell right here,
yeah.
so
Splash.
that was okay,
Ish.
and the tech table was okay, but the cameras were in the middle of the water zone.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this is one of the old GH4s that
Oh, we keep
Survive.
its
it
corpse
works,
around?
but a
Ugh.
couple of things don't work on it, right? So overall,
Right.
this can take pictures, it
Oh,
can
it
take
can.
video, but it doesn't do any output anymore.
What do you mean it doesn't do any output anymore?
It's a HDMI out.
The
is
output.
broken.
Oh, that's not our fourth camera that we can use,
No, we could use this. We could use it.
but there's no output use.
No, but we could use it in a different way.
How?
Paperweight?
Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
I will be exploring the world of Wi-Fi. Yeah, the new cameras, these new GH5s are so cool. I could control the camera using my phone.
Neat.
It has an app that I
an
could
app
do
for
stuff.
that.
That's pretty cool.
You can do that with the new audio recorders too. You're very excited. I remember when we
Right.
were in the UK.
Oh God, Kara,
too
I
excited.
think about it. Sometimes in bed, I'm going through SGU stuff. I'm like, what do I got to do? And I think about the sound devices, pre-10T, right? Close enough. This thing is so awesome. The best thing about it is that I can turn it on and off while we're on stage. I could be there on my phone, just go, we are recording now, Steve.
Yes.
And it's like recording. You know, it has like a rude recording light so you know that you're
And
recording.
Jay tells me that because one time we weren't recording,
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
so there's a layer of
Yeah,
quality
the layer of
control built
protection.
in
Yeah,
there.
I've told Steve before every show I have to tell you we are recording, and that's our. Yeah.
Do you know what's weird about these Patreon live streams as opposed to the Facebook live streams?
What?
I can't see you.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Oh, we
right.
have no camera set up.
No,
I'm
we
not.
do. We have
I
a
don't
camera set up.
donate to the SGU, so I don't have access to the live
We
stream.
have
on
to give
Patreon.
you, an account that you can. But you
I mean,
have.
I have a
Yeah.
Patreon account, but I don't give money to the SGU.
yeah. I don't think we could give Kara. We can't give accounts
But
away on
Ian
Patreon.
is saying yes. Ian is saying that we can't do that. Be quiet. Okay.
Well,
What else is Ian
either way,
saying?
I can't see you, but
Killer!
Got Killer!
Stop
Man,
the
he's
show.
adorable.
Killer's on.
There
doing
he
the
is.
show. This is kind of the great thing about
Never
streaming from
perform
home.
with animals
Or children.
or adorable little children.
Or monkeys. Oh, wait.
He is really adorable.
Isn't he?
I would
I
get
love
on the
Dex.
floor with him and just like rub him for hours.
Can you believe that this dog is 8 years old?
Oh boy. So he's gonna die soon. Is what you're
No,
saying.
he's small. He can
no.
live another 8 years.
Oh, he has. Yeah, he'll double his lifespan.
Yeah, my dog is 16 years old right now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there you go.
17,
And you have a
16,
big dog.
17. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kara, we got another very important question that I want you to answer. Per the last podcast, if we could have caught
Oumuamua.
Oumuamua, would it taste like umami?
It could.
Maybe.
So theoretically it could, and I'll tell you why.
Well,
Okay.
space.
Space has amino acids.
Yeah.
And the umami taste is amino acids.
Oh.
And so there might be the right kind of amino acids on Oumuamua that would taste like umami.
That-
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you
wouldn't the
taste them.
vacuum of space dessicate your tongue?
Well, that's a
Probably. There is
technical.
that.
Well,
No,
you don't
you
have
bring
to-
you bring
You
it
have
to
to
you.
grab
on
a
your
chunk
planet.
of it and bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grind it up into a fine powder. You're good.
Oumuamua.
I told you guys that when Don Pettit, I interviewed him when I worked at HuffPost while he was on the ISS, and I asked him what space smells like, and he said, it smells like hot metal.
That's what I heard.
Wait, I thought the
Yeah.
our galaxy smells like raspberries. Remember that? That was from a news item from like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I read. Yeah,
According to the smelloscopes, they point to
He
space.
said that in the airlock, after you go in and before you come out, there's like a hot metal smell.
Okay, but that could be an
But that's
artifact of the
artificial,
space station
right?
itself.
I like hot metal.
Could be, but he definitely thinks that it's like the space station itself smells like open ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Oh gosh.
It's a cesspool.
So I think that
Please.
he was saying
We're
that he thinks
LARPers,
that's the
we know.
closest any astronaut has been able to smell in space is in the airlock.
So we have an interesting question here. Any advice on doing public skeptical demos? Want to do demos of stuff like blinded organic versus non-organic sugar taste testing or stuff like that, but have no clue on how to coordinate with the venue, permits, etc. Any of you have experience with that? I mean, yeah, because we've run Nexus for the last 10 years. If you have a venue, let me rewind a little bit. You're not doing this in the street, right? You're not doing this as a street performer. You're planning on like trying to do it like conference style, which means that you have to have.
It's similar to Gangnam Style.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I hear they're combining Gangnam Style with who was the guy that wore the loose pants?
Oh, Vanilla Ice.
Hammer Time?
Or,
Yeah, Hammer Time.
Time.
Hammer Time and Gangnam Style are merging.
MC Hammer.
His name was MC Hammer, not Hammers.
That was the song. Was Hammer Time.
Remember the pants though? The pants were awesome. So
Actually, he hated being called. People say, "Hey, MC." He's like, "No, it's MC. It's just Master of Ceremonies. It's not my name."
Yeah.
Just so I throw
Right,
that
it's his
out there.
title.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
He
to
didn't like
answer
it.
your question,
It's his degree.
if you're going to be doing this somewhere where people can pay tickets or something to
You
come
gotta get
see,
a permit.
say again.
Gotta get a permit.
No, you don't. You just
If you're going to do any kind of recording somewhere, though, well, you have to get permission from the venue.
the venue. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You
Right.
have to. But you don't need a permit to hold
You
a
might,
conference.
though.
No.
I don't know.
No.
But if you're video, what if you're like recording a video somewhere?
I mean,
To get waivers?
that's a different story because if you're doing like
For broadcasting, you do, but if you're just
not
recording,
necessarily because as long as you don't get caught. No, seriously. Yeah, run and gun. If you don't get caught, I mean, lots of
Run and gun,
indie
right.
filmmakers run and gun. You just do it until someone says get out of here. You know.
yeah, right, and you get what you get.
Yeah.
We used to do that.
Yeah.
We used to do that in like graveyards. Like
Yeah.
we wanted to do a ghost hunt in a graveyard. You do it until a cop shows up and tells you to get out.
Yeah, but you got to always act like you're.
Oh,
it's okay
I
for
had
you to
no
be
idea
there.
that
Yeah.
we
Oh,
were
I
allowed
can't
to
do
do
this.
And that's what you
Yeah.
say if they talk to you. But until they come up to you, you act like you're fully permitted.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
As they approach you, are you a ghost cop?
So, yeah, you just didn't ask a specific enough question because I'm not sure where you're trying to do it, but if you're doing it in a location at a place that people are going to go to, then you coordinate with the venue. If you're going to do it out in the street, you probably don't have to. I mean, you can't just go into a mall and do it.
If you
though.
just pick a venue and call whoever at the venue you need to talk to, they'll walk you through it.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what you need.
What is everyone's next most anticipated new technology they want to get their hands on? Bob.
There's lots of stuff. Something I saw.
Pick one.
Something I saw recently: foldable
Phones.
cell phone
Yep.
screens. Some company
yeah, I
just
saw
demoed
that.
it. Was it Samsung? I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
I think they're trying to like kind of bring back the vintage vibe, except the screen itself folds.
Well,
Neat.
it looked like a conventional, thick smartphone with a kind of a smallish screen.
Yeah.
So it easily fit in any pocket. But then it opened up into what was a small tablet, but much bigger than a conventional
Yeah,
So it
I see.
cell phone.
unfolds
So
twice.
that.
So you go from like a small phone to a mini tablet, mini pad.
That's cool.
Right, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times you could fold that
Probably
thing.
once. It probably can only handle one fold, right?
No, it's designed to open and close, open and close, open and close.
No, but
you know.
you need how many different times can you do?
Oh,
Right.
The
Is it
one they had just
style,
once.
and you
Yeah.
can, yeah.
What the hell did you think I know?
Oh, Jay,
What, like you can only open it once?
Right.
Well, you just
That's what
wait.
you
and then
said.
So these people buy the phone. They're like, I don't know when I'm going to do it. I might unfold it tomorrow. Maybe I'll wait 3 weeks. I mean, what are you, nuts?
Jay, that's how it came across, dude. That's why I thought you were
Lumber Jay on
whacked,
this
Jack.
Oh, God.
Karen, what the hell was that?
I'm anticipating self-driving cars. I want a self-driving
me too.
Yeah,
car
huge.
to
We were in one.
chauffeur me around. We were in.
well, I mean-
it wasn't fully self-driving.
Augmented driving, whatever
No.
they call it.
Yeah.
But hey, when you're
I want
sitting,
to play video games while I'm going to work.
yeah, but when you're in a car,
Yeah, that's right. Make the most of our time.
Wait, when you're in a car on the highway and nobody's hands are on the wheels and you're changing lanes and shit, that's a milestone in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
we did that. But
I remember the first time I saw a web URL on an advertisement.
Me too.
And I was like, "Whoa! What? Wow! They have a website. That's so cool." It was new.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm
website.
probably with you.
All right, so I agree with what Steve said, but mine is more advanced VR video gaming. So
Yeah.
because
Ooh.
I have a dream.
I want the full. I want.
I want the full
Player
D&D.
one, all player one.
Yeah, I want Ready
City
Player
of Heroes VR.
One. Yeah,
Ah.
D&D, City of Heroes, fully, full immersion, man.
Oh my gosh,
I
we'll
agree.
never
Yeah.
come. We'll never come out of that world.
Oh,
Jay.
forget it.
We will.
Yes,
we'll
you
live
get
on
tired of it. You
Striga
get tired of
Island
it
forever.
soon, though. I mean, it's good. Like
No, but Steve, we haven't played a game yet that hooks you. We haven't got
I
that.
know.
It hasn't happened.
even like an hour or two a day. I think you would be like, all right, I'm tired. I'm ready to
Yeah.
do something with not having this friggin' helmet on my head. But I think the more comfortable it gets,
Yeah.
the
Yes,
longer
the
you'll
less.
stay in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, how many times
Less
have I said it?
cumbersome.
I'm waiting for the glasses, like Jay's glasses
Yeah.
being your VR and AR
Everything.
Yep.
setup. I mean, that's it. Done.
Our kids will have that, but we won't. Not sure if you want to answer the below item. Forget it.
Yeah,
Oh.
just go to.
Do not read this.
Don't read the
Okay.
stuff in the white, Jay.
All right. All right. Is blockchain useful in the sciences? I know nothing of it other than mentions of currency and record.
Steve
keeping.
and I had a talk about blockchain, and we have a statement to make.
Okay.
Blockchain is the idea or the execution of blockchain is resource heavy,
Yeah.
and blockchain might not be sustainable. But look at what's going on with
We
Bitcoin.
basically couldn't run the world on cryptocurrency because we don't have enough computing power to do it.
Yeah, the energy. Consumption is enormous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about video cards, like we're talking about the video card prices are going up.
GPUs, yeah.
Because GPUs actually are used for the blockchain
Ooh.
Yeah.
because they're better than the general ones. But so maybe though they would need to make dedicated processors, like blockchain processors, that are more efficient because they're like dedicated to that type of processing. I can imagine that. There's also something coming out called Holochain, which is supposed to replace blockchain. Have you guys heard of this? Jay's promises to do a deep dive on it for an upcoming episode. If anyone out there is an expert on Holochain, email us, especially Jay, because we want to figure out what that is and report on it.
Yep.
All right. Stephen often mentions how Yale is working on implementing more evidence-based educating. Any key takeaways about how to improve one's teaching for the college level, if that matters? So, I mean, the kinds of things that we're doing on the individual level, it's all about. I was just having this conversation today, actually, with my fellow. I was trying to bring him up to 21st century.
You have a fellow?
Yes, I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
fellow.
What's a fellow?
A fellow is somebody who's completed their residency, so they're a fully trained neurologist, but they want to get subspecialty training. So in this case, he's a headache fellow, so I'm teaching him specifically headache
Do
medicine.
you ever make him get your coffee?
No, that's not that kind of fellow.
No.
No. But anyway, so at an individual level, we're moving away from didactic lecturing, and the key is engagement. You need the people you're talking to be as active as possible.
Now, would you tell him, like, go start my car, it's cold out?
I could tell him
No,
that.
but you can.
That would be
He'd laugh
awesome,
at
wouldn't
me.
it? Yeah.
But if you got him the coffee, you wouldn't need to go worry
That's-
about being
that's
cold
true.
outside in the car.
Yeah, that's true.
But on a institutional level, we're like phasing out lectures and we are phasing in workshops, right? So you don't because students, first of all, they don't want to sit in a class and listen to somebody talk at them. Like you could they'd rather listen to a podcast.
Yeah.
Take the best, put that lecture into it's an optimal format. You just give it once, and then they could listen to it whenever they want. They can stop, they can
On
rewind,
demand.
right? I mean, you can take notes when somebody's live talking to you. I mean, it's silly now when you think about it.
Yeah.
And then once you consume all the information, like social media style, the way you want to, then we'll sit together in a workshop and I'll talk you through it. Like, all right, here we have a case. Let's talk about it. What do you think? What do you think's going on? What else would you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that, for at least for medical school, I mean, it's all practical, you know.
Yeah.
And the actual just information transfer is all multimedia, pre-recorded. So that those are the big changes, and there's lots of evidence to support that. But the big underlying concept is, the more interactive, the more engaging, the more people will actually learn, right?
Yeah.
Which is what we try to do on the podcast too. I mean, it's a very non-interactive medium, mm-hmm. right? It's a one-way conversation, but that's kind of the point of having a conversational, joking, you know, around. It's constantly re-engaging the audience. If we were just monotone downloading information, you would lose interest in 15 minutes. You know, you couldn't sustain your
Some
attention.
do anyway.
We've had a few people email
Yeah, that doesn't stop others.
We've had some people email us saying, hey, can you get rid of all like the banter and the joking and
Cut to the side.
I just want to hear right about the science.
I wouldn't want to do this if
just listen to something else.
Right, that can be found.
Next question. Any advice about going to college? At high school, I barely got myself to do any of the assigned tasks, and I worry that I would just skip all my classes if I went to college. There are a ton of self-help sites, but I'm unsure of the validity of their advice. I do have one comment about this.
Yeah.
The difference between high school and college is college, somebody's probably paying for it.
Yeah.
Either your parents or you. And if you're paying for it,
that'll motivate
that's
you.
a big
That
motivator.
Right. Have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
I did.
you know,
I paid my own way.
also, no other time in your life, it's so important for you to do well in college because the degree is very much tied into a lot of things that come after, which means like, you know, how quickly and how much will you get paid, you know, when you get your first job.
That's even if you don't use the degree directly. You know, if you're studying whatever, engineering, you don't necessarily become an engineer. You still have a degree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And other places of employment.
I love college. I mean, college is a great opportunity. Your opportunity to learn. It's probably the time in your life when the ratio between sort of freedom and responsibility is the greatest, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have less freedom when you're younger and a lot more responsibility when you're older.
That's right.
At college, all you got to do is basically learn. You know.
Right.
You look back on it like, who the hell wouldn't want to do that? But of course, at the time, you totally take it for granted.
You don't know any different.
Yeah, you don't know any different. But I mean, there's no substitute for self-motivation. If you're not self-motivated, no trick is going to work for you, right? I mean, if you're not motivated to do well and to learn and make the most of it, you have to take classes you're interested in, first of all.
That's key.
I know there's probably some you just got to get through, but you know, try as much as possible to take classes that you're actually engaged in. If you like the subject material, you'll work. You won't miss the class. I mean, there were classes I went to, I couldn't wait to get to that class. It was so fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would be upset if for some reason I missed a class.
But, you know, my concern is that he's saying, like, he's worried or she's worried that they're going to get sucked into partying or
just
being
don't,
lazy.
man. You just got to be disciplined.
And I got to tell you that nothing has advanced my life more than hard work.
Yeah.
And it's got to start in college. That's got to be when you turn that corner and say, you know, I've got to make something of myself and I got to support myself. And it's not easy finding a job. It was a lot easier 30 years ago.
A good job.
A good job. Yeah.
So I know there's two words I say the most often when I get these kind of questions is time management, and that's easier said than done. But a lot of that is just is blocking out time. And you know what? You could block out time to party and to play video games and to hang out with your friends and to watch TV or whatever you want to do. That's fine. But you have to have some protected times. Like, no, this is when I'm working. This is when I'm doing my projects or whatever. And it also, just mentally, like one thing that I do, I guess this is a little trick, is I'll reward myself with the video game when I finish a task I have to do. But you do that first. If you don't do the thing, it's, all right, let me just play a little bit and then I'll work later, because you'll never get to the work. Always reverse that. You do the work first and reward yourself for completing it with playing a video game, But it's just time management.
And here's one more trick. I like the idea of calling it kind of like a hack.
Yeah.
So let's say, in my life, something totally mundane, like taking out the garbage. And, I'm in charge of the garbage at my house. I take it out. I rolled up.
You're the garbage man.
I'm the garbage guy, right? I got to do all the recycling, And the amount of time it takes me to do it, I'm going to do it. That time, is it today? Is it 10 minutes today? Is it, at the end of the week when I'm prepping for garbage, is it, 45 minutes of cutting up cardboard boxes? I'm going to do it. But picking when you do it is almost as important as any other decision you can make. Because think about it, I had to teach myself this. If I'm going to spend the hour doing it anyway, I want to be a hero, not a zero, right? So I'm going to do it when people are proud of me for doing it or happy I did it at that time. You don't want to do things when people are pissed off at you, right? So you're going to write the paper for school, write the paper, and turn it in on time because you're still going to have to write that paper. You might as well do it when, you know what I mean? So picking when you do the work is almost as important as doing the work itself.
But I feel like, is this person asking for some sort of hack? Like, how do I make college not hard? It's like, here's the thing, you hated high school because you were forced to be there. Right. Nobody's forcing you to go to college. And if you don't want to go, you're not going to go. So you have to find your own motivation. And the truth of the matter is maybe this is an ambivalence question. Part of you really wants to go, but part of you is nervous that you're going to let yourself down. That's something you can work with. But if this is a question solely of I should go to college because outside forces are telling me I should, but I have no interest and I'm not ever going to go to class, sorry, nobody's going to make you go.
Yeah, don't go.
And you probably shouldn't go because
don't go for
you'll
somebody
spend
else.
a lot of money.
Yeah, don't go for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you want to go and you want to be successful, there's so many resources within the academic community that you probably didn't have in high school. And the thing is, they want people to use them and people don't. Talk to your academic counselors, make peer learning groups. Now you have you can chat with your friends on, Google Chat, or you can do whatever. Used to be you would just go to a coffee shop or whatever and study for an exam together. There's so many ways to stay motivated and to make it a social thing too. But a lot of people just don't use them and they don't realize how incredibly college does not have to be an individual pursuit. You can absolutely get social support when you're doing it.
It's true. All of our experience is also outdated. One thing is, and this is true in high school as well as college, anything my daughters are learning about, it doesn't matter if the textbook sucks, if the teacher sucks. It does matter, but the point is, if they need to know about a topic, I could find a YouTube video on that topic that teaches it better than anything they're getting in school.
Or great courses.
It's true. It just happened the other day. Autumn didn't understand that, she had to figure out how to do whatever. It was something in chemistry. It was significant figures. And, I only vaguely remember, the details of it. So I'm like, all right, let's look it up. I looked it up. I found a resource. There it is. It was all laid out. Everything she needed to know was right there online. We found it in 2 seconds. And it was better than any of the crappy notes that she had from class. It was all right there.
That's awesome.
I did the same thing.
But also,
Ashley.
you knew which sites and which sources were legitimate, mostly because you went to college and because you've been working really hard your whole life.
Well, that's true. Knowing
viewpoint.
how to access information online is the new universal skill. You have to develop that skill. But I think these kids today probably know that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But you're right.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But that is something you need to focus on. Focus on learning. I tell that to my medical students. It's more important than any information I could give you is telling you how to get information. That's the skill. Because anything I teach you is going to be obsolete by the time you're actually treating patients. Pretty much.
Yeah, I think the two things that are huge takeaways from an academic training situation that you might not get in vocational training and you might not get in self-guided training is, like you said, number one, learning how to learn, learning how to look things up, how to teach yourself, how to critically think about things. But number two, writing. College forces you to be a good writer, which helps you be a better communicator. And unless you are literally forced to write papers, you're probably not going to do it
take a writing
unless
class.
It's your job.
Right. Think of the emails. Emails have we written in a business setting at work. It varies from job to job, but man, that's really, really important. How many emails I've written to oh boy, look who I'm replying to. I got to make this spot on and perfect. And it's so critical for how people perceive you. I read typos and grammar mistakes in emails at work instantly. I can't help but think,
I know, really.
Capitalization.
Come on, dude.
You have no excuse today with the internet helping you spell everything. Do any of you drink alcohol? If so, do any of you drink it enough to have preferences, favorite drinks, etc.? Or is it a rare social event?
It's rare for me, I think. But I
None
will
of
have
us
a drink
are
every
big
once in a
drinkers
while.
I don't drink at all.
Steve doesn't drink at all.
I don't drink at all.
So you two of us don't drink at all, and the other us three. I mean,
I drink wine. I like Pinot Grigio and Pinot Noir.
Well, how often? What's it?
I mean, I've been drinking a lot of port lately because I got a ton of it for my birthday.
All right.
And I love, my wife and I are obsessed with port. So we but port, like I'm having, 2 fingers
it's a
worth.
cordial.
It's
Two fingers.
It's a
Yeah.
shot.
It's an after dinner type of deal. But I love having a beer every once in a while.
Really?
Like a cold beer.
It has to be cold though.
Yeah, I have one beer, one Stella,
Ice cold.
So I'm probably averaging 1.5 drinks a week.
Yeah, that's not much.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's
Not much at
nothing.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because it's funny how a certain period of my life when I was super fixated on not drinking a lot of alcohol, or at least consuming my calories efficiently. It was really so. I would very rarely, drinking 2 or 3 beers to me was like, oh man, how many? I was thinking everything was in calories.
Yeah.
So I transitioned to like
I did the same thing.
right.
That's
Wow.
empty calories.
Right, yeah, and I remember ethanol is 7 calories per gram, which
Yeah.
is a lot.
It is a
I
lot.
mean,
It's more than carbohydrates.
protein
more
and
than
carbs are like
Yeah.
4 calories a gram. Fat's like
Nine.
9. And this is like in between, so it's a lot of wasted calories. So I transitioned to mixed drinks. So to this day, I opt for like a mixed drink, like rum and Diet Coke, something that's very few calories. But I mean, if you want to get a little buzz, that'll do the job quickly and efficiently. And it doesn't take much, trust me, because I so rarely drink.
All right. Imagine
What
that
else?
humans can live for 1,000 plus years.
I've never done that before.
What are the ramifications for memory? Is there a limit to how far back we might be able to remember, just based on what you
Absolutely.
currently
Yeah, right. I
know?
mean,
Well-
Alzheimer's starts to set in. I mean,
Well,
that
let's
was just
assume-
the
no,
we're
person
assuming-
Let's assume 1,000
Right.
plus years with a healthy but normal current brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's memories fade. It's not just so much as a limit, but just you have to imagine that, and the memories fading it's a feature, not a bug, right? That's an adaptation, because you don't want all memories to be equally vivid and recent, and you know what I mean. So the things that get used get reinforced. Those memories are stronger, and then things that you haven't thought about in a long time, well, it's probably not important, so it fades.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would just have lots of faded memories. But
Right.
but it is interesting to think of, like, is there a window, like is there a 50 or 100-year window where you get to some point where basically
I would say no.
that
I would say
window's
no.
moving forward?
To me, it's like a telescope. How far can the human eye see? You could see as far as you need to see. If it's bright enough, you will see it. If the photons are getting to you, you will see it no matter how far away it
Yeah.
is. So I think it's the same with memory. I think you could be 800 years old and you could remember something in your 20s if it was significant enough. Sure, it's going to be distorted.
That's what I was going to say.
It's,
There's
it could have major
but just
distortions.
Distorted after 2
Think
weeks.
of a memory from when we were 10.
Yeah.
Do you have any memory that you trust from 40 years ago?
Yeah, but I
Very
feel like
few.
that's not a
I
fair
do.
comparison, because
Very
when you're
few.
10,
How about
also
20?
your brain is less developed. So
How about
your
20?
context
20,
is
you're
really
fully
immature.
adult.
Yeah.
How about just 20 years from college? So you're still a little on the younger side, Kara, but from
Yeah.
us, from college,
Like 30 years ago.
college.
it's 30
yeah.
years ago. That's even then. Those memories are pretty faded. I mean, there's something
Sure.
I clearly remember, but I don't really trust any of my college
Yeah,
memories.
fine. You wouldn't trust it for the details, but the
Imagine
fact
130 years ago.
right, but the fact that it happened,
Yeah.
you're pretty confident that it's not
It has
wholesale.
every-
Yeah, but
Sale.
nobody has that. Nobody has that experience of having a 130-year-old healthy brain.
True.
And you're trying to remember something that happened 100 years ago. I personally think, from my own memories, and from what I do know about memory research, that would be faded and distorted and reconstructed
But
into oblivion.
I don't want. Let's not. I think
You
what
would
the-
know the broadest brushstrokes.
The person that asked the
Don't-
question, though, I think that one thing they're trying to get at is there a physical
Is there a
limit?
hard
And
limit?
the answer
I would
is
say no.
yes, there is.
Yeah.
There's a hard limit. A brain is in a limited amount of space. There's a hard limit.
Yeah, but the
No,
brain
no.
doesn't really
Look at
work that
look at
way.
look at what
Quantity.
they wrote. Is there a limit to how far back you can remember? It's like the brain can't remember more than 500 years.
Oh,
I
no.
disagree.
No, I disagree.
No, I agree. There's no
I don't
hard
think
limit
that
on
could ever be.
time.
That-
I mean,
that's the
memory
question.
has
That's the
everything
question.
to do with rehearsal.
Yeah.
It has everything
Right.
to do with
Kara's
whether or not you
correct.
rehearse that memory.
Right.
And so there
Exactly.
are some things that happened last week that I don't remember
Right.
because I didn't think about them after the
Right.
fact, and I didn't rehearse them at all. They're like the people who can remember what day of the year things happened on. The people who can tell you what T-shirt they were wearing
Yes.
that day, it's highly correlated with obsessive compulsive tendencies. It's highly correlated with people who just constantly think about things that happened in the past and rehearse them.
Yeah.
And then people who remember facts and figures, they think about those things in a different way. They connect them to other memories.
Yeah.
I don't see why you couldn't look back 500 years. I think you're right, Jay. There's a capacity of like actual processing.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have to make room for stuff somehow, but that's just all about attention and rehearsal.
Yeah, and I think if you're 500 or 600 or 800 years old, I don't think there's going to be many memories you're going to have from your 20s. You might think, I could think of 3 things that happened in that decade.
Yeah,
But in your 20s, did you lose a significant figure in your life?
Of course, it's
did
all
you,
variable.
You know, like,
it's all variable.
Depends on what
Sure.
it
yeah,
is,
that's
right.
the thing. Like if the world
Yeah.
ended when you were in your 200s and then you populated a new planet, you might remember Earth back then.
Sure. Absolutely.
But I also think that you, well, I lost my train of thought. It's funny.
You forgot?
No, I think that you will be supported in the future, especially by video. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
Right, and that's
just
related
watching
to the
stuff.
question.
Just check this out. You know, all the things that you do with your kids. You know, and I videotape my kids like I admit, freakishly large volume
Yeah.
of video going on. Right. I forget all the nuances.
it's
You go back to a
freakishly
video
large.
from 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, you don't even remember that they did these funny little quirky
Yeah.
things. So I would be fine having video support my memory.
Just wear a body
that's
cam
just
all
it,
the time.
and that's kind of related to the question. Is like it's almost an irrelevant question because assuming the march of progress in 1,000 years, you won't need to organically remember anything.
You'll
Any-
upload your
things-
memories to something and recall it.
Right,
as
things that
needed.
you remember will have been recorded in 3D, tactile, olfactory. It would
Well, that
all
was
be
that
there
Black
for you.
Mirror episode, right? Where you
Yes.
just reverse.
Yeah, with the
everything.
grain.
Ooh, I like
Yeah.
Oh
that.
my
cool.
God!
Yeah,
that was-
everything is
that was
recorded.
cool.
You
Can
can
you
relive any
imagine?
moment.
Ooh,
Yeah.
You need that tech.
That would
But
settle
it would be
a
missing
lot of
like
arguments.
it would be missing all the feelings and the smells and like it
Record
would have
that
to have
too.
multi-sensory
Sure,
inputs.
record that
Yeah,
too.
stuff that in there.
Somebody said, and do you remember the memory or remembering the memory the last time?
Oh, I
It's
see.
that's all. You can't like differentiate
Right.
between those.
Yeah,
two
you're just
things.
reconstructing it every time.
Yeah.
Chances
Yeah.
are, though, it's a memory of a memory of a memory.
Read our book.
Especially if you see yourself in the memory, that's not a
Forget
real
it,
memory.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Hey, totally unrelated. How about you guys do a live show from Middle Earth, New Zealand?
Sure.
All we can say,
Isn't that like a
all we
foregone
can say
conclusion?
is, not only would we love to go to Middle Earth, New Zealand again,
Mm-hmm.
that if anything was happening in the near future and people wanted us to go, they could all they got to do is email us at info@theskepticsguide.org with the
We may
subject.
be in that part of the world.
We might be in that part of the
sometime
world
next
soon.
year.
Maybe.
Yes.
2019,
Possible.
latter end,
Maybe.
third quarter,
Maybe.
maybe.
Next year sometime.
Possible. It's
Who
entirely
knows? The
plausible.
future is mysterious.
Which way do you think we should go on
Yes,
energy to
that
save
way.
the planet
Yes.
from pollution? Solar, water, wind, etc. versus nuclear?
Both. We do
false
all
choice.
of the above.
All of them.
Yeah.
I honestly think we're probably not going to prevent serious adverse events from global warming because we lack the political will because we're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But because I just wrote about this today, we have the technology, we have a plan, we could totally do it with existing technology, we just lack the political will.
Yep.
Because
it's even like it's even built into the
ridiculous.
capitalist system. Like we
Yeah.
can do it affordably.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's actually even cost effective now. It's ideology at this point, it's stupidity.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Pathetic.
there is a legitimate debate to be had about how much of our resources should we putting into wind and solar, and how much should we putting into things like nuclear. I think that my personal understanding of the consensus of the people who I should listen to is that it should be both. So the thing about I'm a big fan of wind and solar.
You're a big fan of wind?
Yes,
Hi-yo.
but we actually don't have the technology to live off of those right now. That would require us really developing grid storage that we really don't know how to do it right now. Yes, we can build grid storage, but at the scale, cost effective.
I know, but that's going to come like
it's going
Right.
to
It's
come.
coming.
We're not. That's the thing. That's like yes, we could
not worried about
anticipate that, but it's not here now.
right.
For nuclear, it's similar in that the plants that we really need we're building now, but it's not like they're up and running already.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should put our eggs in either one of those baskets alone. I think we should absolutely build out our wind and solar infrastructure
course.
and work on grid storage.
And fusion, keep chipping
Yeah.
away. At
Fusion
But
approach.
we
Jay,
need
fusion.
nuclear for baseload. Right now, I think the best option is nuclear for baseload, wind and solar with some kind of grid storage for flex. And
Until fusion.
until fusion hits, whenever that's going to be, if ever, in the foreseeable
Hey,
future.
come on.
In
and
our
we
lifetime.
we need the political will, and
Yes.
Yep.
we'll see if that happens. But I don't know
Probably
if we're
don't.
allowed to get even minorly political on a live stream.
Not going to
but
happen
it
in the
looks
next
like
2 years.
the Arizona Senate seat just flipped to Democrat.
Hmm.
Kirsten Sinema just won her seat in the recount.
That's good.
Our
just
ancestors are going to say, too little, too late.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
what they're going to say.
Oh, of course
Guarantee
they are.
it.
I was just talking to my boyfriend last night. We were watching TV, and he was like, Kara, I just had this thought, like what it would be hundreds of years from now when people are looking back the way we're looking back at like slavery. And they're going to be like, God, they were stupid with all that plastic and all of that,
Yeah.
garbage that they were putting around the earth and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's where we are right now. We're just making horrible, horrible decisions with zero.
I think they're
insight.
going to look back and be like, can you believe how many people drank that Starbucks swill? That over-roasted.
That is not going to
Overpriced.
You did not like that.
They're going to be like, what's the deal with MC Hammer?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
watch that?
Was that his
be.
first name or a title? What was it?
Style.
I'm Rick James, bitches. In the reduction,
Michael Caine.
is the reduction in the frequency of interviews on the SGU podcast intentional or a result of other things going on? And I will add a
Lack of
subnote.
time.
I think we interviewed everybody. Didn't we hit
No,
everybody?
so
No, I
There's
want to
no
do
one
more
left,
interviews.
yeah.
I know. It's just
So-
we need to dedicate somebody to just
that's a
finding
good question.
and setting up
And
interviews.
you are part of the reason why you, my friend, all of you are part of the reason why more interviews might come back because it takes more time to vet people and everything. And if I work full time for the SGU, then we'll have more time to do it. But really, it comes down to it takes a shitload of time to find the right people. And everyone that writes a book might not be a good interview, and we try to feel that out and like watch has the person done interviews before? Listen to them. Have they done any videos? Like get an idea what their vibe is.
Part of it is that we just sort of fell off of our workflow. We need to get it,
Yeah.
we just need to spend more time doing that. We had a lot of shit going on, and it's like one of those things. I'm like, oh, I want to nail another interview, and then it just 2 weeks go by and we haven't done it. But yeah, we want to do more interviews.
Yep.
You can help by sending us suggestions, but like don't send an email saying, oh, you guys should interview John Oliver. It's like, oh yeah, no shit. We know we need. What we want
It's like
is
a dream interview.
yeah, either what's most helpful is like a suggestion for an interview, like of somebody that we can get, but we may not be aware of.
And here's his number.
Or a contact with somebody that we want. So either a contact or like a name of somebody that would be easy to get, but we may not be on our radar.
Come on, be the hive mind for us.
Yeah.
Any plans to do an event in the Twin Cities area?
Don't you know?
We will. Yeah, we will go anywhere. We just need somebody to set it up for us.
Yeah. That's all dependent on. Most of the time, where we go depends on invitations.
Invitation.
Yeah, I mean, it's also you got to get in the queue because we have limited time.
Yeah.
Some of us have day jobs still.
Like right now, we're just about a year, or just over a year out from plans. So if anybody wanted us to talk somewhere, it's at least a year of planning to get us there.
Unless it's
Unless
super
it's
local.
very
and-
local.
Yeah, if it's super local, then it's
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah, but remember that local is different for those four and
Yeah.
me, the floating
Yeah.
head behind
But we
them.
fly you out everywhere.
Right.
Kara does things. I'm not going to say what they are, but Kara does things that she doesn't want to do with us.
Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Still a mystery.
But I feel like we will make her more of a geek. This is going to be the year of Kara's geekdom. Is
She
going
got
to
to turn
come
the
out.
corner.
Yeah.
She'll level up as a geek.
Yeah.
We say that every year.
Yeah.
It's wishful
you can say
thinking.
that.
Making
It's
progress.
wishful
She's making
thinking.
progress.
I'm like hip to more things. I pick up on
Right.
inside jokes more, and I sometimes know what you're referencing. Don't mean I like it.
Yeah. But we always
My
make you laugh.
my wife's a total nerd and is still in total denial about being a nerd.
Yeah.
Still,
great.
it's like she totally gets. I mean, she just missed a SpongeBob joke, I have to say, but she gets most of the nerd jokes,
Yeah.
and she like enjoys watching Doctor Who. She's like, oh, don't invite people over. I want to watch Doctor Who in quiet. It's like the first episode. But she still is in total denial.
Wait, Stephen, did you remind her that she LARPed
I
for
know,
6 years?
I know, but she blames it all on me. Like, I just do it
Are you
for
kidding?
you.
Yeah. Come on.
She knows
Wow.
so far
She loved
beyond doing
Some
it
memories
just
are more
for me.
clear than others. The LARP memories, those are pretty clear.
Yeah.
That's the
damn
height,
clear.
or perhaps nadir of a geekdom.
Yeah. All right, this question is so obvious, but it's still good to talk about. Should rhetoric, philosophy, fundamental logic be a required part of a high school curriculum?
Absolutely.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Not just high school. We should be introducing critical thinking to
From grade school.
Yeah, from grade school on up, and then you should be able to major in critical thinking in college.
Wow.
And that's it.
Well,
That's
every
the answer.
college degree should be a major in critical thinking.
Yeah,
You would
right.
think so.
You know, you scroll through back my education, not one person talked to me about critical thinking.
No.
Ever.
No, I got
It
through.
never came
I
up.
got through my whole degree and everything.
Not in Canberra or
once,
anything, Steve.
Not
Didn't
one
come up.
requirement.
That's a huge bummer. I definitely, I think, had an ideal academic upbringing because I was in like these really amazing gifted and talented programs in my district in Plano, Texas, and I think I'm really lucky because of that. I also think that most people who get PhDs, it's not perfect and they don't get enough philosophy, but it is a doctorate of philosophy for a reason. And most people who get PhDs learn how to do critical thinking.
Yeah.
Like that's a big part of advanced degrees.
I only got the critical thinking I learned was in courses on philosophy. So I took a philosophy of logic class in college. I took an ethics class in medical school. And probably in high school, in all honesty, the most critical thinking I learned was in theology class. Because it was a Jesuit theology class, and it was actually very critical.
Yeah, and most people, unless they're at a religious school, don't take any religion
Yeah.
because that's philosophy, basically.
Yeah, it was philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, a couple of things. First, Silac, how dare you say that about LARPing when you LARP yourself, my friend?
What did he
He was
say?
busting our stones on there. I
Oh,
saw.
please.
And then
We've heard it all.
Charlie, feel free to ask us anything off topic.
Charlie.
Any question you want, brother.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Not really hot.
Somebody asked, Jay, did you perfect your British accent while at QED?
You what?
You won't. No, I didn't, but what I did get better at is anything to do with Harry Potter. Harry Potter. That's Harry Potter, that is. Man, that Harry Potter tour we went on was awesome.
Yeah.
That was,
was cool.
awesome.
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable,
That was
man.
cool. Took so many pictures.
I already forgot it.
How are the book sales, Steve? How are the book sales going?
So they're going fine, although it's been a couple of weeks since my publisher gave me an update. So for ebooks, that's just a number. Like this is how many ebooks you sell. For the hard copy books, we know how many books the bookstores ordered, but we don't know how many they're selling. Right?
Yeah.
We won't know until they either send books back or order more. But we're also right in the holiday season,
Yeah, so something
so
could
it's
happen
this should be a
Different
very
beast.
active, like especially from Black Friday to Christmas should be a good time for sales. And
So
then
we're ranked right now like just over 5,000 in books on Amazon, which is a really good ranking, but it could be better if
Could
you
be
guys want
better.
to buy
That's
more books.
could be
Yeah.
better. Just they make great gifts, I understand.
And if
And
only-
then
Yeah.
and then we're waiting for the international markets to open up. We got Spanish now. We got two. We got Spain
so
and Latin
exciting.
America. So now our foreign. We get this question occasionally. So we have contracts with publishers in China, Germany,
South Korea?
Russia, Korea, the UK, which covers Europe, English speaking, and now Spain and Latin America for Spanish.
Nice.
I'm so happy
Yeah.
that we got it in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a really good friend who told me that at her house she has a bunch of roommates and she keeps the book in the bathroom, and it's a really good bathroom book apparently because on a regular basis either her roommates or friends of her roommates who are over visiting come out of the bathroom and they're like, oh man, that Dunning-Kruger effect.
yeah.
Like his first half are really short chapters that you
Yeah.
can knock out in a single bathroom.
In
Yeah.
a single sitting.
That's right.
They are single
That's
sitting
awesome.
chapters.
Someone also asked, is the audiobook available? Yes, it was available the day that the regular book was available.
Yep.
So the audiobook is available.
And
Yeah.
Steve did it.
I did
Wherever
it.
you can buy it. Where do you normally buy your audio?
That was a rough 2 weeks.
It was a rough 2 weeks, but I got it out. And then other people ask like, "Hey, how can I translate it into French for you?" The answer is no.
Well, the answer is yes,
We'd
but
love you to.
No, you
but
can't.
enjoy.
It has to go through the publisher.
It has to go through the publisher. So
Yeah.
get a French publisher to contract with Hachette Group, with our publisher,
Yeah.
and then it will happen. But that's how it's got to go through that.
I mean, I guess if you're in a country and you want the book there, you could call a local publisher and say, I want this book in our language, and start talking to them. It's something you could do.
Wait, someone's asking about Mandarin. Didn't we sell Mandarin rights?
Yeah, we got Chinese.
Yeah, we did.
We do. Yeah, we have
Whatever,
Chinese rights already.
It's probably
Yeah.
Mandarin.
Cake or pie? My answer is pie.
Cake.
Ooh, cake. Well, it depends on the flavor. Like chocolate pie over
Yeah.
carrot cake.
No, I say pie. My favorite things are all pie. Key lime pie, banana cream pie, coconut cream pie.
Does it hurt you? You were like,
It's too hard to answer.
what board games do you play? Faves, etc. Evan, you start since this is your area of expertise.
Yeah, that's right. My
Don't
other
skip the VR
podcast.
question. I'm not
No, we're
skipping
going to do
the
it.
VR.
It's
So
still
many,
there.
so many. Favorite types of board games?
Parkour.
We've been playing a lot of what are called Euro games lately. Do you guys
Euro
familiar with
games?
Euro games? They involve victory point counts. So there's lots
I
of
played one with you guys.
There's usually lots of ways to establish gaining victory points in this style of
Yeah.
game. There's all sorts of different ways to achieve it, and then whoever has the most victory points in the end. And the other thing about Euro games is they all seem to come with little cubes. And the cubes are used for all sorts of things. They're markers, they're currency, they are indicators. And Euro games just love using little colored cubes to represent all sorts of things.
Interesting.
So
That's
a lot
cool.
of Euro
I've
games
never
lately
played one.
that we've been
Now,
doing on the show.
Traditional games, I still love Monopoly. There's something about Monopoly that
It's a classic,
It's-
yeah.
there's
It's a
something
keeper.
special about
I
it.
played that with my daughters.
I like all the different flavors of Monopoly too. They could make
That was
it. They could
brilliant.
theme it from Nightmare Before Christmas, or you name it. Rick and Morty. I bought that for Julia.
Yeah.
What game did we
just
play
played
last
Rick and
night,
Morty
Steve?
recently.
What was it? That's one of my
Code
favorites.
Words.
Code Words is a great
Yeah.
game. It's not really, there isn't a board, but you do lay out cards on the table, and it's...
You have to get people to know there's 25 words laid out in a grid, and you're trying to get your team to know which words are the ones that you're supposed to get. And then with a few, you have one word clue, so I have to say, all right, and I could say one word and get them to know which, of the 8 words that I have, they need to guess.
It's very challenging.
It's challenging. It's easy to get 1 for 1 is easy, but you have to try to get 2 or 3 words at the same time. So you need what one word would trigger 3 of those words, but not any of the other ones.
And there's one card on the board that if your team picks it, that round is over. So you got to be very careful.
So, for example, if they needed to guess sky and wing, you could say plane, because plane is intimately related to sky and wing.
You say plane 2. I mean, there's 2 words there that relate to the word plane.
But you got to make sure there's no other words that relate to plane. Otherwise, they would pick that.
It's funny.
So.
It's really hard because people say, "Oh, but this, there's another word wire.
Strike,
this fly by
right.
wire." I mean, and then you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't think of
that."
that." They find a connection that you didn't think of,
Yeah.
but you're straining to find connection, so it's plausible. So it gets really tricky.
There's something special about board games because in a video game, to me, it's much more about the graphics and But when you're sitting around a table with people
It's more
playing a board
social.
game, it's
Oh,
way
it's
more
totally
social.
social.
There's way more jokes. Even though we had an
Tons.
amazing time playing City of Heroes, that was a very unique,
Yeah, that was
special
singular
thing that we
sort
had
of
going
thing.
on. But for the most part, when you get a group of people to come over and just play, let's play board games for a few hours.
Yeah,
That's
That's why
Saturday
we're
night.
doing the
Still
show.
fun.
God,
Still fun.
there's something special about that. Do it with your family, man.
Related
Oh,
is
family game night's awesome.
how often do you use your VR headsets? I worked in VR. Really worried about the market these days. Many say this iteration of VR was a failure.
It's not failing at
Really?
all.
It's not a failure, but I do think it's in transition. So then there's 2 things. There's the technology and the software, right? So the technology works.
Yeah.
It's fine. The headsets are a little bulky, and the field of view is a little narrow. Those are, I think, the 2 limiting factors. But I could be totally immersed and enjoy a good game. So the technology is above the board if you have the right software. And then good games. The good games that are out there are awesome. I played all the way through Arizona Sunshine, which is about zombies. Bob, you're just really good. Imagine being in a dark mine with a flashlight and you're surrounded by zombies.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
And it's in VR, so it's totally immersive.
Sounds very
It works.
visceral.
So it's great, but as Jay and I were just saying, like we keep talking about when's the killer game coming out. Like I want.
Not literally.
Well, like for example, Valve has the lab, and they have this one that's the Wizard's Lair, and it's just one room, and it's like a demonstration.
Yeah.
So I want a whole game like this.
Yeah.
And I assume they're working on
right?
it.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for that game to come out. That's going to be like the game I'm going to be playing for the next year.
Yeah.
But we're still waiting.
So yeah, my short answer is the hardware is good enough
Yeah.
to do the VR experience. We just need a kick-ass game, just like Steve said.
Yeah.
Like,
And what was that company that came out with like a glove or something that you could manipulate?
they have some haptic feedback.
But it's not just feedback. It's like you can manipulate things with your fingers.
Yeah.
And
Neat.
they gave it to developers so that they could develop the games that use it. So we're on the steep part of the curve
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
the
But
best-
we're,
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have, like you said, there are certain things that are a little bit glaring when I use your system. I definitely want a wider field of view. I want more portability and things like that. But if they did come out with a killer game, I would pony up the whatever $500 to get it. But right now, I have no interest to spend that much money on that because it's just not enough out there. And not that I research it. I mean, I assume you guys would tell me when some amazing VR game for that platform came out. I would be hearing about it.
I feel like they're around the corner. I mean,
Yeah.
These companies that have invested billions of dollars in these technology, they're not going to just walk away. It's going to continue. But it's the chicken or the egg because you need the game to attract the people so the hardware can get better. And it's a snowball
But I
effect.
think we're on that curve, and we're going to be getting incremental improvement.
I saw a demo of a system. Of course, I forget the name. I saw a demo of a system. Now, this wasn't VR. This was AR, augmented reality, or mixed reality. So the headset, I would say, was about a quarter the size and weight of the one that you're putting on your head.
Well, I like that.
So it's a lot more minimalistic. It's definitely not anywhere near glasses, but it's the woman who tested it said she had it on for a half hour. She said no problem. There was no fatigue or anything like that. And it's just the overlay. You could see your room, so there's no danger of like killing yourself falling down the stairs because it's overlaid on reality.
Is that new one that like people they spend billions of dollars developing?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know. I don't know if it's that one. But this was a system that's also very portable. The computer is like a disc this big. You hook on your belt. That's totally portable, and it looked really good.
Now,
I mean,
I heard
in 5 years it's
something
going
about
to be
playing
amazing.
Minecraft in your house.
Yeah.
Where the landscape is like follows. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'd be way more into AR than VR. Maybe it's partially because I'm not really much of a gamer, but like I just think there's so much more application with AR than VR.
Well, they're just different, but I think that where AR is going to kick ass over VR is so with AR, there's no issue of vertigo or motion sickness. Right, because you are actually physically moving around in the world. Right, you're not completely immersed in a virtual world. So you could do a lot more. You could be a lot more physical with AR. So I would imagine we're playing a game like Call of Duty, but we're physically together. Right, we have our electronic guns, and we're in my backyard. The enemies are in the actual environment.
Yeah, that's really cool. And
that's really cool,
I think a
right?
mini version of that was Pokemon Go, right? Like that already happened and it was a massive hit.
Yeah, for a short period of time.
We played that a lot for a while, and it was cool. But then we got bored with it, or I got bored.
They didn't scale it up because they lagged behind. They didn't because you have to scale a game like that up, and they did eventually, but they were too slow, and people lost interest.
Yeah.
Well, but that's also kind of how games work. Like you've got the hardcore gamers who keep doing it, and you've got the people who lose interest and move on to another game.
I still play it now.
But
where's
there's so much more with AR. Like there's so much more. I want Google Maps to be AR. I can't wait until I can play poker with my friends and get odds on my hands the second I pull them up. Like there's so many cool things you could do with AR to augment every real life experience.
Yeah, and I was really it was really unusual for me because that was so popular. Pokemon Go was so popular. I was waiting for for some other game to jump on that bandwagon and capitalize on that and make a ton of money. Where was it? Right. I mean, I'm not like searching for that kind of stuff, but it would have raised to the level of cultural awareness.
All right, imagine this. Imagine an AR haunted movie, right?
Yeah.
Where your house is haunted,
That'd be
Because
Your house
I would
is
eat
haunted.
that
augmented
shit
reality
up.
ghosts and zombies and
Oh my God, I love
bleeding
that.
walls and mouths that talk and demons and like you could
Girls that appear in the hall.
you could have a
play with
game. The
us.
game is your own house is haunted, right?
I mean, imagine this, Bob. You walk into the house,
all over it.
and your ex-wife is standing in the doorway.
That's a different kind of experience.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I love this. Silac said, I have 2 friends still playing Pokemon Go, but right before that, Scoff McBeast said, Pokemon Go is a disaster. Hashtag security guard. Poor guy.
No, there definitely were some problems.
Right.
And they sort of dumped that on the world without the world being quite ready for it.
Next
Oh my God,
question.
Jurassic Park. Sorry, that would have been really, I want a dinosaur playland.
Ian said
Yeah.
he never saw Jurassic Park tonight.
Oh my
What?
God.
Ian!
It's Jurassic
What?
World.
Oh, you didn't see
Oh,
Jurassic World.
World.
Oh,
Jurassic
okay.
World. Oh,
You didn't miss
okay.
anything.
That's
dude.
fine.
That's
Yeah.
fine. But if
Have
you didn't
any of
see
you
Jurassic
guys
Park,
seen
you
the
gotta
most
talk.
recent South Park about global warming?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
here's,
I did
here's the
not.
quick deal. So Man, Bear, Pig. Remember this one where
Yeah.
they're
Of
making,
course,
they're making
classic.
fun of Al Gore.
Classic.
But at that time, Trey and Matt didn't really think that global warming
This
was
was the late
was
90s.
legit.
A lot of people were in
It's fine. Back
in
then
that
it
zone.
was okay.
Late 90s was the last time they addressed it?
No, well, the Man Bear Pig.
Oh,
So what
okay,
they did
yeah,
was
yeah.
they did another episode, which is kind of like a makeup episode with Al Gore, where Al Gore,
Is correct.
he's correct.
And
Yes.
they're big, you know.
And he's like,
real.
I didn't see the episode yet, but I heard like.
I
you know,
did. It was funny.
It's good, right? I heard it was
Yeah,
very
it
good.
was very funny.
So bottom line is, it was really cool for them to come full circle and be like, hey, we were wrong back then. Even
Yeah.
though the episode was so funny when they made fun of him. Excelsior!
Are you serial?
Cereal, yeah, that was great.
I'm serial, you guys.
God, they're so good.
Yeah, so the good, they still.
The whole
impressed me.
episode is about Al Gore being right.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. It's,
Yeah. Are we excited about the new Picard series? Yes.
Of course.
We're gonna,
Oh, God.
Alpha
What are they
Quadrant
gonna
6
do?
is
That's the
jizz
question.
all over that thing. We are going to go ape shit
Yeah.
on that. Oh God.
It's just a matter of
Can't wait.
what's the plot going to be? What's
Yeah,
what's
dude,
the setting
have
going to
you
be?
read any spoilers?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything
Nothing
about
yet,
it.
man.
It's still very.
It's going to
very
be off the
fresh.
beaten path. That's what.
and there's absolutely no way we could possibly be disappointed.
Oh yeah, our expectations could never get
I think
to a
Patrick
point.
Stewart really has his
Well,
thumb on this one.
I trust
Yeah.
Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I think this might be our last question. Does Bob, Jay, Evan, and Steve listen to Talk Nerdy?
What's that? Let's
Aw.
talk nerdy.
My answer is yes. I've
Of
been
course.
a fan of
Yeah.
Kara's show since she interviewed me.
Yeah,
That's that was my introduction to it. She had an amazing interview with George Robb, and then
that was so fun.
I mean, you every once in a while you have an interview like, oh wow, you have like an oh wow interview where I'm like, I needed
Oh, thanks.
to hear that interview.
Like mine?
that was an oh
I
no.
listened to all yours. You guys did okay.
Oh, wow.
This is
all
all
right, you guys
y'all.
Oh
were
wow.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Kara's show is a lot of fun.
Tons of fun.
Thanks.
I think that was it,
That's the
guys.
last
right?
question?
Are we
What
done?
time? I have no idea what
All right.
time it is.
Yeah. It went
Yeah,
by so
9:15.
There's no
fast.
clock in this studio. Why is that?
6:15 my time. 9:15 yours.
Oh, wow.
All right,
Okay.
We're out.
perfect.
That's
I
good.
mean,
15?
hello.
That's good.
So,
Well-
so anyone that joined late, so if you are expecting a book from the SGU, it's in the mail, it's coming. Enjoy it. There's a couple of unexpected things in there. I'll say what it is. I wrote a letter to everyone. Quick, nothing big, just like a quick thank you and everything. I thought it was nice to thank you guys. And you get a free SGU sticker, the round stickers, which are my favorite stickers.
Yeah, those are awesome.
I like those.
A little thank you in there. And guys, again, we appreciate you supporting what we do. I mean, this is
Absolutely.
this is an awesome relationship we have, and we want it to continue. Bottom line is, our patrons are helping us do the things that we really think need to be done, and as our patronship grows, we have some cool plans. One big thing that we've said in the past. I want to see us hire someone, go and be a petition the government, which is something we've said many times. But that's going to take a lot more money than we have now. But that's in the
Yeah,
queue.
we got to bribe those congressmen, so we need a lot more money.
I hate to say
Joke,
it, but
joke.
that's the way our government functions. Lobbying is important.
I know it is kind of the way.
We
it
wouldn't have to
functions.
hire someone full time. We'd just be like, these are the 3 things we want to work on this year. And we can get someone at key moments to do stuff like that.
Right. They would find the correct politicians to champion the causes that we're interested in.
Right.
But we're focusing right now on books. We have books 2 and 3 are in pre-production pretty much. And
How close are we to hiring you, Jay?
we're not far at all.
250?
200 people, yeah.
We're
It's,
close.
yeah, every month, at the end of when the people get charged, we get a little drop off, and then it comes back, and then we keep building up. So, but we're so close that it could be, it's literally just a wind can blow in the right direction.
I was recently asked if you can purchase a Patreon subscription for someone as a gift.
Of course.
Oh yeah, I think so for sure.
Yeah. So what you'd have to do is you sign up. You could put their name in. You have to have your name as the contact information because you're going to be billed.
For it, right.
But then you just give them the username and password and give them access to it, and then you
simple enough.
stop contributing when you want to stop, or just have them take it over from you.
So we got some upcoming events. People were asking us about an SGU TV show. We're always working on that. In fact, we are working on a lead right now.
Yeah, we have another
Yeah.
lead.
So.
But we're all like, we got
Yeah, I know, but it's
little
here's a
fatigued.
lottery ticket. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so
Right.
don't get excited, but I mean, it's honestly, so we'll keep doing that. We'll keep buying those lottery tickets. Whenever somebody says, hey, you want to talk about doing a TV show?
We'll talk.
Sure, but it's never going to come of anything unless it does. But what we really need to do is finance our own pilot, so that's what we're trying to build towards, get enough resources where that's one of the things we would do is we'll just make our own sizzle reel, our own pilot, shop it around. We'll have editorial control, so it won't be like, oh, every third show the pseudoscience has to be real, whatever crap they want to do. So that's something that we're constantly working on. We're going to be doing a live stream for the year-end wrap-up show, but we will put that information out exactly when we're doing that, but keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, send us your feedback about the best of and worst of everything of the year. You know the drill.
Please,
Send
I don't
us all-
remember anything that happened the past year.
Yeah.
Fresh my memory.
Your favorite bits,
Your favorite moments, favorite bits,
quotes,
everything.
favorite who's that noisy.
favorite skeptic,
Noisy.
favorite pseudoscientist, right?
Yes.
Yep, and
Your
then
hero.
Now I'm going to put it to you guys since we're all here. We're
Yeah.
talking to our this is our crew that we're talking to right now. I don't want to do these psychic predictions anymore. I don't think we should
Really?
do that. I don't like it. I don't like
I
doing the
like them
psychic
a lot,
predictions.
actually.
Why don't you
I
like
think
it?
they're fun.
Well-
I think it's Evan's favorite.
I predict we will be doing it again.
I'd like to hear what the patrons have to say.
Fine. Tell us if you want
All
us
right,
to do that
tell us
segment
if that's-
again.
Yeah.
November 30th, we will be at the Smithsonian, and December
Washington,
1st,
DC.
we will be doing an event with the Capital Area Skeptics. So keep an eye out for details on those, and then the year-end wrap-up,
Then,
right?
then 2019.
In 2019.
Oh, boy.
I predict
It's an odd
2019
year.
I
might
predict-
be one of our best years ever.
You think so?
I do.
Thought you wanted
I know.
to end
I know
the predictions
secrets. I know,
segment.
Evan. I know secret things. Okay.
You got to tell me.
I
what's
feel
fun
that
these days.
Star Trek is in our future.
Ooh,
Yes.
interesting.
You think we're going to get to that point? Where
I think we might get there.
I don't know. That's
I know we need a lot more patrons to do it, but I'm feeling positive.
There is. All right, I'm going to throw out a teaser there.
Ooh.
There is something exciting in the works that I can't talk about.
Oh my gosh.
What is it?
Too
Tell
late.
us.
Wait,
You
can
said too
tell
much.
us?
I have told you.
Yeah, we
guys
know what it
about
is.
Wait, I don't know what it is.
Maybe I
We're
didn't
gonna
tell
have to
you.
talk about
I'll
this
tell
after
you.
we hang up.
So it'll become public information, I think, by the end of the year.
Yes.
So
End
it's
of
just
this year.
it's something nice. It's not a game changer, but it's a nice little addition that we'll be making public soon. But there's always little things like that happening, but it's mostly incremental.
Yeah, the best thing you guys, as our patrons, the best thing you could do is just
Spread the word.
pick some people to tell about the podcast that you think might
Buy
enjoy
them the
it.
book
Yeah.
and tell them about the podcast. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
It was a lot of
patrons.
fun. It's
Yes,
always
guys,
good questions
appreciate it.
asked. Awesome questions tonight. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. And thank you. What do I do with my hands?
What do I do?
Kara,
Esther, you out?
we know you didn't see us, but we love you.
Aw, love you too. I'm not hanging up though because I want to talk to you guys after we
All
hang
right.
up.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, we just
All right, let's get rid of everybody else then. We'll talk.
Bye.
All right,
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
So long.
Patrons.
Thanks,
Smelly.
Ian.